You're listening to 15 Minutes, where we feature community leaders sharing what the rest of us should know but likely don't. Hi, Chad Franzen here. I am one of the hosts of Share Your Voice, where we talk with top-notch law firms and lawyers about what it takes to grow a successful law practice. This episode is brought to you by Gladiator Law Marketing, delivering tailor-made services to help you accomplish your objectives and maximize your growth potential. To have a successful marketing campaign and make sure you're getting the best ROI, your firm needs to have a better website and better content. Gladiator Law Marketing uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, and decades of experience to outperform the competition. To learn more, go to gladiatorlawmarketing.com, where you can schedule a free marketing consultation. Chad Shifrin is an equity partner at the construction law firm Laurie Brennan, one of the premier construction law firms of the country. He's represented owners, contractors, and subcontractors on nearly every type of construction project, including stadiums, arenas, high-rises, hospitals, and food processing facilities, and he's done so coast to coast. Chad, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you?
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you are a partner, as I mentioned, at Laurie Brennan. It's a construction law firm. Tell me a little bit more about the firm and what you guys specialize in.
Yeah, sounds good. Laurie Brennan is a construction law firm. We opened in 2010. About five of us left the large law firm of DLA Piper and started our own firm, Laurie Brennan. So super exciting time for us. And 13 years later, we're still doing it. So we got 13 lawyers, and all we do is construction law. So we provide that service to clients, and anything that's not right in our wheelhouse, we refer out to our network of lawyers that we developed over at DLA Piper and all the years since.
Tell me a little bit about your journey toward the legal industry. How did you, where'd you go to law school? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, I went to law school over at Chicago, Kent. Ended up at DLA Piper because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and then met up with some really great, fantastic lawyers, including Ty Laurie and Dan Brennan, the founding partners of Laurie Brennan, who about 5.5 years in knocked on my door and said, let's go and do our own thing together. So that's kind of how that ended up happening.
When and how did you know you wanted to be an attorney?
Well, I have some family members who are lawyers. So for those of you listening that are interested in the law, I cannot recommend this enough, is go work at a law firm before you commit to law school. That's just the key experience for you, because a lot of friends I know went to law school, weren't sure they wanted to practice, didn't really know what they were getting themselves into. Some did practice, some didn't. But my advice to young people that ask me that question is go work at a law firm. So I worked at my uncle's labor and employment firm. My father was a lawyer, just general practice. So he did a little bit of everything. So I really kind of got to know what that was all about when I went to work at both of their law firms.
What did you do there, having not gone to law school yet?
I mean, mostly clerk stuff. I was in college at the time, and so summers, I'd go there and help out whatever needed to be done, whether it was drafting some articles, whatever, running to court for filings, learned how to do that. You name it, whatever was asked for me at the office, I just wanted to be there and help people out and really figure out if that was something that I was interested in or not. And soon enough, I figured out of sitting in on meetings and going to certain things that I just liked it. You know what I mean? So I said, let's go through this more. And that's what I did and went to law school.
So I'm guessing some people, you mentioned some people go to law school and then they decide they don't like it. Some people decide that they do. You worked there and decided you wanted to go to law school as a result. What was it about what you saw, your some of your relatives doing or other people doing that was so attractive to you?
Yeah. Well, what I would tell you is I enjoy reading and writing, and that's mostly what the law is. And so when I was there and I saw the phone calls that they would get, and giving that advice to clients, I loved the idea of you get the call, you figure it out, you read it, you write it, you do it, problem solve. That was right up my alley of my skill set, my interests, talking with people. That whole dynamic just made sense to me. It was a natural fit for me. I felt at home in it. A lot of people don't, but it worked for me. So I said, let's go do this. I went to law school.
So you went to law school. What was your first job out of law school again? Or have you told me that yet?
Well, in law school, I worked for a couple other law firms, so I got
Okay.
more experience that way. But then my first job was a first-year lawyer, and I summered there was DLA Piper, so a large international law firm. So I got the experience of a very, 2,000 plus lawyer outfit over there.
What was that like?
It was great. It was like in many ways going to grad school, but getting paid for it because it was. I mean, when you're a first year lawyer and you're getting sophisticated cases, you're doing the grunt work of the research and writing, but reporting internally to the more senior lawyers and learning from them and learning what to do, how to communicate with clients, how to analyze legal issues, um, how to strategize on litigation cases. And so there's a lot of eyes wide open, learning, listening, figuring out what works, what doesn't work for you, and having a lot of access to a lot of different lawyers and how they practice law in many different ways. And then you got to figure out what works best for you.
So you'd characterize yourself as one of the founders at Laurie and Brennan?
Yes, there are five partners that came over. Ty and Dan. They're the name partners on the door. Make no mistake, especially with seniority. But there's five of us that we all talked together, and we opened the doors on day one and sat around and said, okay, here we are. Or how are we going to make this work? And that was a really neat experience and really privileged to be a part of that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what were the early days there like?
The early days were uh, uh, just figure it out as you go, which was it forced us to really stick to our founding principles, which was okay. Let's provide excellent client service. Who are the clients? What do we need to do? And then how do we get this done in an efficient way so that we, can best represent their interests and we don't feel like the clients are losing anything by leaving the large law firm with massive resources to us, and so that bridge and that gap was quite frankly a thrilling challenge. And then the results that we've shown over 13 years is you can do it, and we have, and we're really proud of making it for 13 years and still going.
So it sounds like you didn't have to you didn't have to scramble for clients. Clients came with you, or you had clients when you started out?
It was both. We had clients when we opened our doors that we knew, we didn't know, but that they came with us over to Laurie and Brennan, and then we had to get the word out and start our just without a marketing budget, you know what I mean? Just start talking to people and our networks and our contacts and let people know what we were doing, why we were doing it, letting them know that we had the goal of being one of the premier construction law firms in the country, because we do a lot of national work and we represent clients all over the country. And so that, mostly by word of mouth, reputation, referrals, cases kept coming in without a marketing budget, so to speak, just doing what we're doing and doing it well. And that's worked out for us.
Was there anything, maybe with five of you, this is less likely to happen. Was there anything that all of you kind of combined with all of your legal background, maybe didn't know that you didn't know when it came to, running a business as a law firm?
No, I'm not sure how to answer that other than to say there was a lot we didn't know. And we were not shy to say, we don't know. So how do we do it? And who should we ask for good ways? But the key to it, especially with five people, as you mentioned, is and all five of us are still here, and all is the working together and making it work for all of us. That at the end of the day, I tell people all the time that the law practice is still a people business. It's a people business inside the law firm, especially on types of cases that we work on, which are team-oriented cases. It's very rare there's just one lawyer sitting there with in front of their computer and a client and getting the job done. They're usually working with others in our law firm. And so it's the people business on the inside of the law firm. We're working in a team atmosphere and working with support staff, especially in a small firm, keeping that culture in a place where everyone enjoys coming to work. And then, of course, the people business side of the law is we're representing clients, and it's people that have real problems that they're looking to be solved, and they want them solved in an efficient, sophisticated manner. And that sounds simple, but it's not always easy to do. But you have to have the people skills to work with them, identify what their problems are. A lot of times they don't see it right, and so it's for you to pull back and reframe and talk to your clients about ways to solve their issues so they can move on and do what they want to be doing, which is not talking to their lawyers, but running and working on their business. So that is my long-winded answer for you for how the five of us kind of looked at each other and said, how do we solve the running the business problem of the law firm, which was done, without us even thinking about it over at a big firm, and that we had to do it ourselves and figure out how to do all of it. And here we are.
So, as I mentioned in your intro, you've worked with owners, contractors, and subcontractors on construction projects, including stadiums and arenas. What kind of problems are you solving as an attorney that when it comes to that? Maybe the people who just like to see big arenas built wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, with a lot of construction projects, it's usually time issues. There's delays. There's a constant theme on most of those stadium jobs, and arena jobs that we've worked on. There's defect issues. I mean, stadiums and arenas are ripe for disputes because oftentimes it's the largest such project being built in that city, or not the largest, one of the largest, but it's not something that the contractors and subcontractors have done repetitively. In particular, the subcontractors, those local subs that come out to build the stadium and arena, it's usually a very large job for them. It's oftentimes the first time that they're building such a project, and so they were coming with their bids, and whether that's a defect issue, time issue, whatever it is, then all of a sudden everyone looks at each other. Well, how do we solve this problem? And when they can't figure that out on the ground amongst themselves, then they'll call the lawyers and have us help them out for better, for worse, but ultimately depends on who we're representing. The goal always remains the same with a construction project: get it built, get it done on time, on budget, to the extent you can.
Are there any milestones that you're particularly proud of during your time with Laurie and Brennan that you've seen the firm kind of experience?
Good question. I mean, I was really I'm proud of several different milestones. I'll go through a couple that come off the top of my head. I mean, 2 years in, I remember us having a little partner dinner saying we made it 2 years, and so that just getting any new business, any new firm off the ground and lasting those 2 years, because you kind of do it, or at least I did, certainly at my age and that stage in my career. This sounds super exciting, time daddling. I'm with you guys. Let's go and do this. And if it doesn't work, I'll go find another job in a couple of years. Well, sure enough, 2 years in, and we've got a lot of momentum, and we start hiring more lawyers. And so that's milestone number 2 that I'll just tell you real quickly came to mind, that when we hit the 10 lawyer mark, and right now we're about 13 lawyers, it fluctuated 13 to 15 lawyers or so. When we hit that 10 lawyer mark and knew that we had a really good depth and a good bench, and we could weren't concerned any longer about getting handed a very sophisticated construction project that would cause multiple lawyers to be on it, and how's the firm going to manage that? Once you get to about 10 lawyers, you can handle most, if not any, type of construction project. So that was a big milestone for us that I'm not sure what year we hit that in, but probably between years 5 and 7 or so. Yeah, and then I'd say the last milestone was year 10, when we knew we were at 10 years and we're a mature law firm, and when I told you about that no marketing budget, no one knew who we were, and you try to get your name out. Now you see people on the street and you talk, and people in the construction industry, yes, I know your firm, you guys represented this person or that person, and that's a really proud moment to know that people that you don't have any association with in your firm and your brand is getting out there, and people know who you are, is a real proud moment for a law firm that starts from scratch.
Do you take a different approach to marketing in year 10 than you would in year 1 or 2, or 0 or 1?
Yeah, we probably should, but the way our culture is, we in many ways we're still taking the same approach, that we are just always collaborating, talking. Who sees what opportunity to go speak where? We always want to be speaking with people. We want to be in contact with clients, and quite frankly, at the end of the day, most of our business continues to just come from referrals of people who've worked with us before, who have seen our work and say, yeah, if you have a construction issue, go call someone over at Laurie and Brennan, and that continues to be where most of our business comes from. And I don't know how unique that is in the legal industry. It sounds like it's probably pretty typical, but that's what works for us.
Is what you're doing now what you thought you would be doing when you decided to go to law school? I mean, like somebody maybe who is ignorant like me sees things on TV, and you think you're going to be an attorney like that guy you see on TV. Would you say you're doing now what you thought you'd be doing?
So no, but I wasn't so sure what I'd be doing. So I'll answer it this way, which is I had the good fortune of knowing, as I spoke to earlier, that being a lawyer isn't what you see on TV, and I never aspired to do that. In
Hmm.
fact, that just wouldn't be something I'd be interested in anyway. Um, I knew that I was interested in solving people's problems. I just love that concept. I love providing that value to people. I love being objective and uh, just rational, logical, common sense, and let's think about it. Good. Here's the issue. Let's talk about it. Here's some paths. Here's some ways we can resolve it. Let's pick what path makes the most sense. So in that way, I guess I am doing what I always thought I would do. But to circle back and that I'm in a way that I'm not doing what I thought I would do is I never thought I'd be a construction lawyer. That was never my intent. That was not something I had a ton of interest in. But I'm here and I'm doing it because of people, which is it's a theme that I talk about often when I talk about my career, which I've already said, which is the law is a people business. And I ended up meeting great people over at DLA Piper who said, let's firm our firm. And all five of us get along great. They're great people. And then the clients that I represent, I've made some great relationships. So it's less about the construction and it's more about the people. And I think those that do this more realize that once you kind of have a specialty and know that area of law, it's not as much about the law. It really is about the people and how you approach solving problems.
Speaking of people, do you have any mentors? And if so, who are they? And what can you think of off the top of your head that might be the best piece of advice you've received?
Yeah. The so mentors obviously Ty and Dan, that goes without saying,
Sure,
is
sure.
that I've been working with for the last 13 years and met on day one over DLA Piper. Um, I go back to some of my high school teachers that I think of as mentors. I think those are really, I mean, anyone who is a great high school teacher, they're such formative years and they just stick with you so deeply of the kind of person that you want to be in the world. And so I had a great history teacher where I went, Mr. Lyons over at Stevenson High School way back when, and he really uh, inspired me to be a good person in what I do, and I try to do that. So he comes to mind, and then I have several other lawyers I can think of, but I won't name right now at DLA Piper that I think to myself that I took a little bit from each one to try to figure out how I wanted to go about practicing law and representing clients. And so I, that's that. I'll leave that for that. As far as advice goes, to me, it's always been keep it simple. Just do good work. I mean, it's not that hard. I tell my high school age child in middle school. I mean, the best advice is just do the work. Just stop thinking about everything. Do really good work, and then the other part is once you do your good work, step back, come back to it, and do one more thing to make it better. And so that's the way that I've thought of doing work and practicing law, and it's held me well in my, I don't know, 18 years or so that I've been doing it. Is just do a really good job, stop it, come back, and add one more thing to it before you send it out. And having the discipline to do that, using your brain to think about things, not just put it out there. All those kind of simple, obvious statements, but if you really think about them and put them into practice, they cumulatively add up, and you end up doing good work and surprising yourself along the way.
Sure, absolutely. Sounds good. Hey, I have one more question for you, but first, how can people find out more about Laurie and Brennan?
Hop on the website, laurieandbrennan.com. We just redid our website last year. Thought it was time. Back to your kind of your marketing question. It is one thing we did after year 10 is we made an effort to do that. But like I said, all we do is construction law. We do it nationally. We try to do it for everybody in the construction industry, subcontractors, contractors, owners, and developers. We do super sophisticated stuff. And being the small firm that we are, we really pride ourselves in being able to help almost anybody in the industry to, answer their questions, represent them if they need it, make a way to, if it's the right situation, figure it out. And if we can't do it, if we're not the right people to represent them, that we use our national network to put them in contact with the right people. We really pride ourselves for doing that.
Okay. Hey, last question for you. What does a typical day look like for you? And are there any rituals that you find most important for you?
Typical day for a lawyer, man, that's a tough question. That always depends of what's going on, especially because I do a lot of dispute work. So that typical day can be as exciting as arbitration and trial, and you're there and you're going full speed. And it can be as mundane as, okay, a document production's in, and then I got to go through some documents today or make some phone calls or whatnot. So it really depends on the phase of where the dispute is, if it's in a formal dispute resolution, or if I'm just answering phone calls and helping a client out with a quick question, quick answer, or something more complicated than that.
Okay. Hey, Chad, it's been great talking to you today. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Fun conversation.
And Chad, great job. Appreciate the questions, and thanks for the opportunity. Take care.
Thank you. So long, everybody. Thanks for listening to 15 Minutes. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.